Hello there, I'm that Metroid guy. Open world for Metroid is something that gets brought up occasionally and is met with mixed reception, and with good reason. Open world games tend to either be great experiences or incredibly boring. They can have deep and engaging stories within a vast and developed world, or be a buggy mess with nothing to fill the void of the open world landscape. It doesn't help that open world games tend to be the buzzword thrown around in marketing to sell you on how cool and big a new game is. I'm personally not a fan of open world games, bar a few outliers, but it's undeniable that these games are popular and mainstream. Even if we solely look in the Nintendo sphere, there are several open world games just on the Switch alone. There's Breath of the Wild, which really brought this big push for open world games, as well as its sequel, Tears of the Kingdom, which I still need to complete. There's also Mario Odyssey. Pokemon have gone in the open world direction with mixed results.
They're not. Why is my Pokemon not coming out?
It's not ready.
Oh my fucking god! I fucking love the Kricketune! Oh my fucking god. The slacking on top. Oh my fucking god.
I'm just looking for Pokemon I think have a good cry now.
It was only natural then for Metroid to be brought into the discussion of open world, especially for the Prime series given its higher graphical complexity, first-person perspective, and overall larger scope and attention to the worlds you travel to. Some people immediately jump back at the idea of Metroid going open world because of how mixed these sorts of games can be, myself included, but I want to go over what strengths an open world Metroid game might have, while also acknowledging the weaknesses. And to be clear, I'm largely focusing on Metroid Prime, but the majority of these points can also be applied to the mainline series too. Before we get into it, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Metroid videos like this. Oh, and make sure to enable all notifications too, so whenever I do post, you'll be the first to know. Alright, let's get into it. So off the bat, let's start with the pros, and the obvious one is that a larger world will leave more room to move around and create. This will be able to give more puzzles, new upgrade opportunities, lore, and so much more. Larger worlds could also allow for it to breathe more freely and to feel more alive, allowing for more dynamic wildlife and environment options. Imagine walking into a forest and you could see the predator-prey relations, as well as being able to scan dead carcasses or lore dumps, and in these forests you might be able to utilize the new abilities you've got. And because of these larger worlds, the environments can be more dynamic, and going between them can be quite seamless, so imagine going between jungles and deserts or even snow places without any doors. Day and night cycles as well as landscape shots creating lasting impressions and variety, such as like nocturnal creatures, opening shots akin to Breath of the Wild, can leave lasting impacts. There's a reason why many open world games have a specific spot where you can see the entire world before you. It creates this sense of scale that you can go to the other side of the world there, and traversing that can feel really great. And another point, dynamic weather. So for example, you could be in the forest and then suddenly there can be hail. That one's a little more complex, but it's a cool idea. There's also the idea that Metroid could be seen as partially open world anyway. Non-linear elements with multiple progression paths is a core of Metroid, with a whole world to explore at the player's discretion. Remove the doors and you would technically have an open world game already. It's also the current trend, and it may catch the eyes of a lot of people. It would give Metroid a chance of being a big seller, as open world games tend to sell well, but it would be vital to ensure the core of Metroid is retained. Player freedom, curated progression with the ability of sequence breaking if the player wishes. You also have to have an interconnected and natural world, and so on. There is fan demand to go open world, but there is as much opposition to it as well. And like I said, if you remove the doors, then navigation between biomes and big rooms, it's so much more seamless. And then you don't have the stop-start motions that they create. And given loading times are vastly improved nowadays, areas could be designed to be constant loading spots without the need to stop the player. And to continue that point with the cons, if you remove the loading doors, performance and quality could be severely compromised if the hardware is not good enough for it. Especially for a Metroid Prime game, performance and quality is paramount given it's a slower and more immersive experience compared to the 2D action-focused style of Metroid games. Metroid Prime Remastered would realistically be the minimum people expect in terms of quality and performance, constant 60 FPS and asset quality. Loading doors have also been used for world building, as seen particularly in Corruption, as well as ways to curate progression thanks to doors needing certain weapons to open them, so this would be more of a practical and gameplay reason to not remove these doors. Open world games can have a poor reputation, be it for bugs, following the trend, and even simply existing given the sheer number of open world games. Metroid would have to ensure that its take on the open world format would be unique, which is absolutely doable given what the Prime games typically feature. Open world games aren't that developer friendly though, as excessive amounts of assets need to be created, especially if they reflect several factions or cannot be reused for sequels. Given that Metroid excels in having overly thought out design and ensuring everything has a purpose, diegetic or not, it may become increasingly difficult to have things be repurposed. Typical room-structured worlds allow for focus and for devs to take things one at a time rather than the entire world all at once. I know that's not exactly how it goes, but you get my point. It's daunting to see the world before you rather than just a room. Open world games tend to have exceedingly long development times as well, making the world, filling it, testing, bug-seeking, polish, and so much more. There's a reason why Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom took so long to release, and that's with reusing assets. Open world games also severely lowers replayability in my opinion, because they take so long to complete a single playthrough, and replayability is one of Metroid's other primary draws. And like I said, especially if the game takes a while to complete in a single playthrough, and I mean 100%. Samus Returns and Echoes are particularly bad at this because getting 100% can take a while. Metroid Prime and Dread on the other hand have amazing replayability. You could replay them 2 or 3 times a day if you wanted, and that's with 100%. Personally, I don't think that Metroid should go in the open world route in the usual way. I feel that Metroid without something like loading doors would really affect the game in mostly negative ways from the development and playing sides. To me, Metroid without loading doors isn't Metroid. Of course, that's just one of the many reasons, but even a reason as small as this holds huge weight. I hope this didn't come off as me always going open world bad in general, like you'd see others say. I just don't believe that going open world as we know it would be good for Metroid specifically. But who knows, maybe Metroid Prime 4 is revealed to be an open world game and is incredible, so my words will be thoroughly minced. Sorry this took a while. I got very ill when I said I was meant to do this, and recently I have been obsessed with Helldivers 2. Go play it, it's really fun. The next video should be another discussion type video, talking about whether Samus and the Federation are actually allies, which I alluded to in my Emmy video, but I want to go more in detail about it. And then after that, it's going to be the Olympic Cluster lore video, because I really should have covered that in the Metroid Planets video, so stay tuned for that. We're also nearing the end of the main Metroid Power Suit review series. Wow, this series has come so far. We're on Metroid Dread right now, then we'll cover Metroid Prime Remastered, and that should be that for the main Metroid games, but we will then go on to Smash Brothers, which everyone has been asking about. We will get to those, don't worry. And even after Smash, there's more to come. So if you want to stay tuned for that, subscribe, and I will see you then. Bye bye.